Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at using GeoGebra. And on our Chromebooks, what we need to do is go to our search button. We can go to all apps if it's not already up, but let's go to all apps and find the GeoGebra icon. By going to GeoGebra, we now have an online tool that allows us to create geometric figures and animations, as well as a number of other things. But what we're concerned about with is our geometry. But before we get going, we need to know how to sign in and sign up. Now, what we can do is, because we have Google School's account, we should be able to use those accounts to log into GeoGebra. So making it a little bit easier, giving you also a place to store your saved files. So I'm going to go to Google, and I want to sign in with my mmore at mtzschools.org. And I'm going to have to use my password. And it should bring me up underneath my Google account, and it should retrieve that information for me. This becomes important when we begin sharing some of the files and the creations that you create, or I make creations or worksheets and send them out to you over your Google Drive as well. So this all becomes important in storage capacity. Now, I'm working here at home, so the internet might be slightly slower than your own, but that's okay. And as you can see, we can now upload material and do all that we need to do. So let's get started with the GeoGebra. We've already downloaded, so let's start creating. If necessary, we can go through the app itself again. This time, we want to go into geometry. Your first GeoGebra assignment is going to be nothing more than creating a polygon and doing a few things with it. So let's create a polygon. But the first thing we need to do is familiarize ourselves with the menus. In the first case, this is our selection menu that allows you to drag or choose objects. Here you'll notice you can draw a point. You can put a point on an object. You can find even a midpoint or a center of a circle, which becomes very important as we move forward. Here we can create lines or segments or rays, etc. Now, let's get started here. Using a single point, I simply put a point on, and you'll notice it's going to consecutively number them or label them with letters. If I use a line, it will show once I hit and hold, so I click and hold, it allows me to drag this line wherever I wish. I'm going to put it right here. But if I would rather have a segment than a line, I can simply hover over a point. And you'll notice as it highlights, I start my hold here, go to wherever I wish to have that point, and it ends there, and that's a segment rather than a line. Well, just so that we don't leave ray left out, let's move to a ray. Starting right here at F, and we're going to create a ray that goes through E. Now, the nice thing is you'll notice that I have kept the figure closed. I have made sure that the connections happen at points. This also becomes important because what I can do is I can take and make a polygon out of this. It says select all vertices, then click the vertex again. So D, F, E, and you'll notice it's beginning to color it in. And I got to get back to my start point, D. And now I have a triangle. When I go to my move figure, I can grab anywhere on that polygon and it moves it. Now, let's say I wish to change my polygon. I could just grab a single point, and now it becomes movement. That's why the technology allows us to do a little better than by hand methods. Now, we can also do a number of other things. If I move across some of these menus, we have circles, polygons, semicircles, things we'll get into later, some conic sections. I want to find some angles. I'm interested in distance or length. How long is it? How far is it from D to F? It's 8.7 or 57. If I want to say, well, how long is F to E? I say click on F, click on E. And there it goes, and it begins putting all of my distances on here. Again, the advantage to this is when I grab my selection tool, I can move this around and you will see that all of the measurements change. Now, having defined it as a polygon, I can also do the area of any given polygon. And so all I have to do is click which polygon I'm interested in, and it gives me the area. Now, folks, that is using law of sines, law of cosines. That is a very nice tool that saves a ton of time. Now, you'll notice this is only to 2 decimal places. It can be adjusted, but for now, we're going to hold it there. I could even find the slope of a given line. Which slope would you like? Well, from here to there, and it's giving me a slope. Now, you'll notice it's giving me a slope of negative 0.39. That's because it shows you a depression angle of a slope from 0. So it gives you an idea there. We could also define angles. Now, angles are a bit of a challenge because they do need to be in the right order. So if I want F, I have D to F to E. That gives me 277.97 degrees. It's giving me the outer. If I want a different angle, let's choose something a bit different. Let's go E, F, and D. And that's going to give me that internal. Now, obviously, those two together should make 360 degrees. And we move it around. Okay, we could grab the whole figure. We could zoom in. We can zoom out. We can show labels, hide labels, delete. We can even add text. And what I want you to do in this case is add your name.
Seems complicated adding my name.
And so I have now added my text, Mr. Moore's first practice assignment. When you're done, we can go up to save and share. Now you can save it locally. In this case, I'm going to call it practice. But I want to make sure that when it's saved, that it's saved as a public file. Nothing we're going to do needs to be private. So let's save it. Additionally, I could share it. And by sharing it, it means I can post it onto GeoGebra Tube, and that's why we logged in for the entire account. So we can upload it. We can also find a link for it so that we can use it by link sharing. All of these things are getting started with GeoGebra and things that I want you to give a whirl. Now, in our case, I'm going to put together a few things, so you need to look at the rest of the assignment material to see exactly what I want done. This is just the intro. Again, if we're done, we can do new, we can do open, we can even export it. We can export it as an image, or if we put it in motion and do a recording, we can export it as a GIF. So in this case, we want Mr. Moore practice, and we export it. All right, folks, it saves the files and it tells us where to save the file right on my drive. And by saving it on my drive, it works out very nicely for being able to access it. All right, thank you.